Hey, welcome to the My Voice and Power radio show and podcast. Join myself and regulars every week and hear what we have to say on a variety of topics. We also welcome you to have your say in the comment section or by joining us here in the studio, which you can do by dropping an email to myvoiceandpower@outlook.com. Also, don't forget to tune in to the My Voice and Power show live every Thursday at 9 p.m. on www.unityliveradio.co.uk or download the app from the App Store. Hello and welcome to the My Voice and Power podcast and radio show. Today I have with me
Nathan Lewis.
Darwin Roddy.
Your rules.
Alright.
Sorry.
You've messed up the colour coordination with the headwear today.
Still got hats though.
Yeah, but his is red.
I did look at my red hat.
Because I've lost the black one.
Oh, there you go.
It's always
Look,
one.
I'm busy.
There's always one. Always one.
I'll wear the red one next time.
I'll give you my address. You can send a check in the post. I'll be more than happy to receive any donations.
Right. Okay. So I've obviously uploaded like the previous conversations that we have had.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've made some notes whilst I've been doing that. So just for the first few minutes, we're just going to go back a little bit. Yeah. Because in one of the videos, in one of the conversations we had, you were saying about not being able to relate to the 90s hip hop.
From the US.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And so then that got me thinking, well, I wonder, have you listened to any UK hip hop?
Oh, yeah, carry on.
what was that?
It depends. What do you class as UK hip hop though? Who do you class as UK hip hop?
Well,
Are we calling it hip hop or are we calling it something slightly different? I.e. grime or...
No, actual hip hop.
Okay. So yeah, give me an example of an artiste.
So the people I found
Mhm.
through YouTube.
Didn't listen to. Found them. Had to dig them
No,
up.
I've listened to some of them. I know some of these people. I know Skinny Man. I know who that is. Have you heard of him?
No.
Yeah.
And FARMA G,
Yes.
Roots MANEUVA,
Yeah.
Yes.
Rodney P,
Yes.
BLAK Twang,
Yeah.
Yes. Black twang.
and
Flavour.
I can't even see because I haven't got my glasses on and I can't read my writing at this point. But is this Fee Life Cypher?
Either way, if you say that, no.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I've listened to a bit of it, but UK hip hop kind of escaped me or passed me by. I'd moved on. By the time we'd come out of the 90s, late 90s into 2000s, I'd moved into more like soul and R&B at the time, because that was the big genres at the time. And then I've carried on in that vein of R&B stuff. I haven't really ventured back to hip hop or rap or anything else like that. But then I'm more now. I mean, it's evolved from R&B soul to neo soul to urban now. And you go, well, what does urban mean?
Yeah.
How's that defined? But
You'll find out about 10 years later.
yeah,
Well, they always do.
redefine it again.
They redefine it again. They always do. Always look back and then start redefining everything.
So don't you think they've done that with grime then?
Probably.
Because
When you said grime, back then, I wouldn't have classed it as, I would have classed it as just hip hop.
it was interesting because when I was growing up, dub was something completely different to what dub
It's now.
Yeah, completely different. But then I knew dub as a West Indian genre of music.
Way back in the day in people's living rooms on that, holding up the walls.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And it's dark and it's dingy, but there's a vibe. You're enjoying it.
Yeah.
Very different to what dub is. Well, I don't even know if dub still exists. So, but as I say, with me from R&B to soul to neo soul, you go, well, what does neo soul mean versus soul versus rhythm and blues? It's all very similar stuff.
Yeah, but you've got to kind of give something a new brand so that it can have a space to exist, because the soul that
space to exist or space to make money.
Yeah.
That,
no.
See, because I wonder sometimes if they repackage these things. So it's just like give it another breath of life, and like, okay, we're going down this way. We'll separate ourselves a little bit, because then if we go around this genre, we may be able to, if we can distinguish ourselves, that's another income stream, as opposed to trying to fight the corner with more populated people in that genre. We'll separate and go our own way.
Yeah. So, and I hear that, but from an artist's perspective, not that I am one, but just like as a listener, like the soul we were listening to back in the 90s, whatever, is different to the soul that we are listening to now that's been classified as neo soul.
Yeah.
So if you went to someone and was like, oh yeah, you heard the latest soul track, if someone says soul to me, I think literally soul to soul, back to life, family affair, like all them tracks. I wouldn't be thinking about the soul that I'm listening to now, which has been classified as neo soul.
Yeah, it's got a very different vibe. Like, I've been listening to Yasmin Lacey. She's great. She's fantastic. And but I think she would be cast as more neo soul now, and I would not put them with like soul to soul.
Yeah, when I hear soul, I think like Luther Vandross or Alexander O'Neill or Lionel Richie. Yeah, but they're all from the same genre. That genre of time for me is what I class as soul, R&B and soul. So yeah, Anita Baker. But then when you start to look at that, which is very American, I know, but you start to look at that, then we move into the neo soul. So I'm thinking like Neo, or have you ever heard of Fried? The Fried, for me, when she came out with her album, was incredible, but then that's the only album I ever saw. But I then followed, and yes, I know from the last time, I don't really do Spotify. I do Spotify, and I do find the artists on there from neo soul perspective and listen to them. But I've kind of hit a buffer now where I go, well, what's next? And I know people like Anderson .Paak have just released new artists on their label, stuff like that. So I suppose, what's his name? You carry on talking, I'll think about it and I'll come back. What's his name? You know what? I'll have to use the resource of the internet.
Instead of guessing.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
You can just get to the answer quicker.
I just won't. The more you think about something, the harder it is.
That's the thing, though. That's the thing. People, like, they struggle with themselves to go, oh, what's it? And just like, you've got a computer in your pocket. You're going to struggle for the next 5 minutes.
Bruno Mars. You class him as soul, R&B, or what's he classed as?
He did a track with Anderson, didn't he?
Yeah, they did a whole album.
That was more
soul,
in
my mind.
But does that not fall into the discussion that we were having last time about people doing what they need to do to get in the spaces, even though that's not really the music that they make?
Well, I don't know, because there was the example I gave was Pink, where she was the R&B artist at the time, and now she's pretty good as a pop artist.
Yeah.
But I think Bruno, like I know him, Bruno Mars. That's my best mate. I still think he made music that he wanted to make, because his style of music hasn't changed whatsoever. He's been doing a lot of funk stuff, a lot of soul stuff, and he's carried that through. And then Anderson from, once again, like I know, Anderson .Paak, their combined, what were they called? Their combined group or super group was very soul-esque as well. So and Anderson's always been that way, soul-esque. So I think they haven't modified, but people have probably yearned to have something like that. But we haven't called them like, I don't know, ultra new modern soul or something. It's soul. It's something that will hit you in the gut.
A bit like Lucy Pearl.
Lucy Pearl.
So do you know what? Yeah, the artists I've got here, I've had to research and write them down. Yeah, I don't know. I need the song. Yeah.
So you don't know. So okay, Lucy Pearl was "Don't Mess With My Man."
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
Right, there you go. Yeah,
see, that's me. Yeah, that's how I remember things. Yeah.
Then Bruno Mars was you know Bruno Mars, but Anderson .Paak was slightly different. Then again, I might class him as hip hop, American hip hop, modern hip hop. MANEUVA. Oh, you want the song, don't you?
Yeah.
He's got a song called Tints, but I don't know if you know. I've got the whole album. I'll play you some songs afterwards, or you can find some songs for the radio station.
You're not going to sing it.
Or you could literally just have a look.
I could, but
okay.
I don't want to run the risk of playing music when
Just look at his neck.
You can have like 0.2 seconds.
I don't think my finger moves that quick on my phone.
Oh.
What would you know that he's done? Milk and Honey, Miss Right.
You've definitely heard Milk and Honey.
Play it then.
I'll play it to you after.
Yeah.
But just agree and go, yeah, I know that.
Yeah, that's a banger. No, I'm going to say that. I've never heard of it.
Well, there you go. We'll educate you in regards to Anderson afterwards. He's good. He's very good.
And I'm going to take that a step there to move on to the next subject. You said you're going to educate me, yeah.
In the form of music done by an artiste, yeah.
Well, why you got to start putting specifics around it, yeah? Because now you're just leading it back to music, and I'm trying to move away from there. Darwin, keep your friend under control.
What are you giving me responsibility?
Look, remember, I'm hungry, yeah? Just going to crack on. Need some food in my life.
He needs a Snickers.
Yeah.
Right, so last time
Yes.
you were saying about influencers. Yeah, you're not a fan of them. And then you kind of pulled it back a bit and highlighted why you're a fan of me being an influencer.
I mean, fan strong, but yeah.
Wow. This guy. Don't come here hungry again.
I respect you, it's fine. No, I'm a fan. Of course
I don't feel like it.
Of course I'm a fan. I actually thought about the influencer stuff on the way home from the last discussion.
Yeah.
Did you forget?
No. When I got home, I went, do you know what? I didn't really think about it in this way, but the music artists that we had at the time were our influencers, and the influencing in regards to what we do and how we think about things, etc. Whereas now, because of social media, influencers can go and do what they need to do.
It's a separate field altogether.
But people will then be attracted to what they like. So they will go and watch influencers, and they will be influenced to do similar things to what they're doing. I mean, I watched an influencer. YouTube has this thing where it spits up shorts, and it says you may find this interesting, you may like this. Just clicking it. I don't know how the algorithm thought I'd like it. I clicked on it, and it was an influencer walking through a shopping mall, acting a bit of an idiot, but threatening kind of just normal bystanders walking past, coming out of shops, etc. And the reason why he was doing it is he had hired a bodyguard for the day, so that if anyone took offence to it, the bodyguard would step in and move away. And that was the short. And I thought, well, what is that achieving? Why is that good?
That's not influencing, is it? Though
But he's a big influencer apparently on. I don't know who he is, but he was a big influencer on the internet. So he was creating this content to send out to all his fans that he influences. And I was like, well, what is that achieving? What are you doing?
And this is where I agree with you, because you was about to say they're completely separate things, music and social media influence.
Oh, they're completely separate fields now. This is like, you don't even have to back the influencing up with anything.
No.
You don't have to back it up with music. You don't have to back it up with some form of, I was going to say talent. Just even life experience even now.
Yeah.
The
problem is it works for some. So you've got KSI as a good example of an influencer. All he did started off. I mean, we used to share them with each other. It sort of started off playing computer games and identifying the errors and the corruption within the game. So creating funny videos. And since then, he's been able to move to America. He's been able to play in famous football matches with other celebrities.
Get the stuffing punched out of him.
He's now a boxer. And is it the Misfits? Is that what they're called?
Yeah.
So that's grown massively just by him sitting on a computer and pointing out things that were wrong with a game. But he's influenced loads of people to the point of them clambering to get a energy drink or a
Prime.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But didn't he also donate money to people and stuff like that as well?
He might do.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how to do it. I just thought I'd heard that somewhere.
But yeah, these people class themselves as influencers though. So, but then as you said, there's nothing to back it up. All he started off doing was watching a video and making jokes about it. And I suppose his talent would be then he's a comedian, I guess.
And a communicator. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Because if you're a crap communicator, all of that goes out the window. So they must have something in terms of that. But in terms of anything else, it's just like, okay, what are you famous for? What have you done?
Yeah.
So where would you stand then if I got famous for what I'm doing now then? So like
the best way I think the best way of describing it would be your ability to get a message across about difficult things to talk about. Because a lot of your podcast is not about just having a laugh. Just
it's about serious
jossing and all the rest of it. It's about some serious subjects of which you've related to yourself and actually going, no, I'm going to take the lead in this because I can show you can do this as well. You can talk about these things with the right person in the environment, and this is how you come across. And look, it's safe to do so. I think that is a skill to communicate, and it's bravery as well.
So I think then now thinking about it, an influencer is two levels. Well, there's two types. There's the influencer that will show what they're doing, and then people will try and copy. Whereas there's an influencer that will try and help you and influence you to do something slightly different or talk about something that's difficult, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
There are plenty of influencers out there that will talk about what they've achieved and what they've got. Doesn't necessarily mean that the people watching them will get the same or will achieve the same. Whereas in what you're doing, as in discussing with people serious issues, or it may be jokes, it may be music, it may be, but it's something that people would be able to take away and do elsewhere with other people and achieve something and gain something from it. Whereas in, some influencers are earning silly money, but you can't. They wouldn't necessarily come out and say, "This is how I made my money."
Yeah.
Which is why I think you guys should do it, because it'd be the same. It's just influencers pop up everywhere because they think if I do a funny 5-minute or 5-second video, I'll become famous and earn lots of money. When there's not. There's a lot more drive behind the main influencers. They're business people. They know what they're doing to earn the money. And I think from a mental health perspective, serious issues perspective, you know what you're talking about, and it's good to get it out.
Well, it's lived experience, isn't it?
Yeah.
Lived experience.
Yeah, and I suppose that's the big difference as well. I mean, I remember buying a PlayStation or looking at a PlayStation game for my son with a kid that was classed as an influencer because he reviewed toys on YouTube.
Yeah.
I was like, well, okay, fair enough. All he's done is reviewed toys, but how is he now a multi-millionaire influencing other kids by just watching and doing toys? I mean, his life experience, he's already...
Because you're getting to see what is in the package before you buy it for yourself.
Yeah.
Which saves people money.
But then
and time. It's probably the perception of saving themselves time.
Yeah.
Because it's the one thing that everybody, doesn't matter what you do, it's just like, what can I do to save myself time? I'm going to go on YouTube and I'm going to look at how this is done. On anything, any aspect, any category.
And also, another way to simplify that, let's like if you're all somewhere and someone has something that you've never tried before, everybody waits for that person to try it first before anyone else does it after. So that's where that kid is.
It's interesting because I watch another guy called Flossie Carter. And all he does is review electronics. So the latest phone, the latest camera, the latest headphones, all that stuff. And I more watch him not for the products, but more for his, I hate using the word, but his banter when he's describing something and the way that he articulates what he's reviewing, etc. It's never convinced me to go and buy something that he's reviewing, or I think, do you know what, he's got that, I want one of those. I'd do it more for him rather than what he's actually doing.
Yeah.
So it was an interesting way to spin it and look at it and think about it.
So that's his communication skill.
It's his personality. Yeah.
That's what you're buying into.
Okay, but you're both coaches.
Yes.
As well.
Mm-hmm.
Do you not consider yourselves to be influencers?
Not in that sense,
No.
My main aim as a coach, my mentality is I want to get the best out of you, of what your ability. But I'm not going to tell you how to do it. In the sense of, no, I'm not going to tell you how to do it. You have to do this. You have to go home. You have to do this. You have to eat this. You have to your own life. But I'm going to help coach you into how to run properly. And then if you achieve great things, great. You know, that's great. I always say to my athletes, I'm doing nothing. You guys are the guys that are doing all the hard work, because I'm just stood here watching you. Yeah. And then I occasionally go, try doing it this way. And if it works, great. If it doesn't, try something else. But influencing in the sense of changing their lives or encouraging them to possibly look at things slightly differently in their lives, something different, I think athletics is what we coach in. I'm all about the fun side of things now. So before, I used to be militant and used to be, you've got to be at this time, you've got to do this, you've got to do that. And over time, I've mellowed a lot and thought, you know what, if you're having fun, then you're doing the best you can. Happy days. If you want to take that as a life lesson, take it into other stuff, then great. Yeah. I'm not trying to influence you to do anything in specific.
And Darwin?
Probably a little bit more harsher than
When I said I used to
reflecting on life like that.
Because the thing is, it's like, as you said, there's no point being too harsh, because you then get stressed when people don't meet that criteria. You just think, what am I doing? Why am I wasting your time? Time thing. Whereas on the flip side of that, I'm still turning up to give my time to you. I would appreciate that you take some things on board, use it, try it, and then we come back and we go, okay, what's working, what's not working, we'll try something different.
Yeah.
See what I'm going to say here? It's got to be a nice, lovely link. What? The common courtesy to actually, if you turn up, great, put the amount of effort in, or if I turn up, then appreciate and respect that I'm here. And plus, I think the other difference as well is we volunteer. It's not that we get paid for it.
Yeah.
And that's, for me, that's what makes common courtesy all the more important. When you don't get paid, you're giving away your time and energy, and people don't respect it. Well, I don't know, because everyone's different, but I guess it feels like people don't respect that if they are not courteous.
You're probably not even fully aware of what it is it takes you to get there, if that makes sense.
But do you have to be fully aware of that to say thank you to someone?
No, but it helps. It helps because it's saying people. Some people sleepwalk through life and they go, "Oh, okay, yeah," and they're not fully aware of what it is, the appreciation to what it is you have given up to be. Like, he's not with his son.
Yeah.
For those hours, he's not with his son. He's down the track in the car.
Yeah.
Stood there going, right, come on guys, we're going to do this, explain it, watching them, giving all the attention to that person. Same. Right? And some people go, oh yeah, you know, and they'll be a bit flaky and stuff like that. And you know, whatever goes on with them.
Yeah.
Right. And you have to be empathetic because you don't know what's going on with them under the surface. But at some point, those who are just, it's difficult for people to fully understand, like you can't understand everything that's going on under their hoods, for them to understand what's going on in your hood. And the fact that you're both there means there has to be that common courtesy that I'm here, okay, you're here, you've given up your time, right. I need to respect that.
Common courtesy can be unspeakable then?
Yeah. I think it can in a way, because it's action, isn't it?
Yeah, it depends how you look at it. So I used the phrase quite recently, manners don't cost anything. And I'll give an example. I can't remember where I was, but I was walking out of a shop and the person in front of me just went through the door and then but saw that I was coming, but and I wasn't far away, and don't get me wrong, it's not like I was 20 meters away. And I was like, but they saw me coming, just left the door and just kept on walking. And I'm like, well, okay, fine, slam it in my face, whatever. You could be in a hurry. But then I then got the door opened and someone was coming behind me and I held it for them and they just walked out. I was like, now, if I was my mum, if I was my mum, they would have been cussed straight away and say, thank you would have been nice, or manners don't cost anything.
Yeah.
But then I walked away from that and I started to seethe a little bit. And I was like, that is common courtesy. It doesn't even, they don't have to say anything, but even a nod,
acknowledgement
is an acknowledgement, or thank you, a hand up, or something like that. It's the same. It's the same way in driving. If you let someone out and they don't say thanks,
We've said enough now.
I've stopped my journey and where I'm going to stop to be nice, to say, yeah, come out, because there could be loads of traffic behind me. There could be anything. Common courtesy, thank you, carry on. It takes 2 seconds.
Not even that.
Okay.
And some awareness.
Yeah, exactly.
I completely agree with you, yeah, but it's my job to just throw a spanner in the works, yeah.
Go on.
People might think, well, you chose to do that, so why should they thank you for your choices?
Because it's just manners. If we flipped it around and someone did that for us, how we've been brought up and how we've been influenced.
Mate,
we say thank you.
Or the hazard lights on for
flash,
a second.
yeah, something.
Whatever.
I appreciate that you did that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The acknowledgement. I think it comes down to the acknowledgement, isn't it?
But some people might not expect you to do anything because they chose to do it because it was the right thing to do.
Yeah, but because they didn't expect it doesn't mean they can't say thanks.
Yeah. Even if it's the right thing, even if they go, do you know what, that's the really right thing to do for me, automatically I'm getting ready to say thank you. It's just a natural thing for me.
Yeah.
But I think it's a broad brush to say, but nowadays people don't think that way. They just go, it's an almost, I was thinking about this today or yesterday, there's a level of entitlement that people have suddenly got. Well, you did it for me, great, and carry on. I don't have to do it. It's common courtesy, and I'm being nice, which means that just say thank you. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't cost anything. But there's a level of, I find there's a level of entitlement now, and I find it more specifically in driving, because I do a lot of driving now. I just do a lot of driving in general. That people will pull out, they just go in whatever lane they want. It's like I'm entitled to do what I want, and I don't care what happens to anybody else around me. Well, that's not how we should be in general. It doesn't make sense to me.
I put it down to awareness. I 100% put it down.
There can't be that many people that are unaware, though.
I tell you now. Driving through London, Clapham, cyclists, wait.
Okay.
Wait your turn.
You start getting to Clapham, one cyclist turns up, then another one, and almost literally like geese, like the flying V. And you're just like, where you guys go? And they literally just pull out.
Do whatever they want.
There's an obstruction, pull out. They're completely goal orientated. They're like, I need to get to X place in this time, and I'm just going to go, and all I'm aware of is what is in front of me. I'm not aware of all the other people and their time, because that takes brain capacity to think like that. Honestly.
So it's interesting you say that, because I think you're a product of your environment. And by that,
partly.
By that I mean London is cutthroat. The roads are, if you don't nip in there quickly, you're never going to get in there. Or
there's no courtesy.
There isn't. People are like, I'm going in there and I'm going. So interestingly, I came back from Dubai a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago, and the driving there is insane. I mean, insane. Like, they could be traveling on the motorway at 80 and they just indicate, and they just go. They won't even look. And I'm sat there with colleagues, and I want to live. I don't want to die today. But because of the environment, they're so used to it. They're like, yeah, okay, cool. But then occasionally you hear them with the horns, but they're not even doing it. They just do it for the sake of doing it. They're not
autonomous, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's just like.
But their environment is you nip in. Otherwise, you're going to be sat here for half an hour rather than sat there for 15 minutes. So they're going to do. And I think London's the same. It's so busy. I always say London's is not actually such a big place. It's medium-sized city.
Yeah. So
busy it seems massive because the length of time it takes to get places. And then I was thinking on a deeper level, on the product of our environment, to the point of if there's that common courtesy or there's manners, but people aren't calling you up for it or say thank you or don't do that or say sorry, whatever it may be, then those people won't think to do it. It's just not. No. They're not programmed to do that. So
there's not been the influence to get that response out of you. If that makes sense.
It's like
there's no.
Throwing in a bit of science. It's like Pavlov's dog. So And I kept on thinking, should I do the Pavlov dog experiment on my own son? Which sounds bad, but you're conditioning.
Well, it's better than Schrodinger's cat.
Yeah,
you're not going to put him in a box to see if he's alive or dead, is it?
What? Hold on a minute. Where's this going?
Science. So Pavlov did this experiment. Is that he's trying to understand.
Yeah.
The influence of sound of a bell and conditioning people to understand. He found a dog. Well, He had a dog. And he rang a bell and he put some food down.
I think I've heard of this.
Right,
Yeah.
so the dog would go, oh, right, okay, munch, munch. Ring the dog, munch, munch. Ring the bell. Dog comes along. Where's the food? Where is it? Going on. Ring, ring. Where's the food? So you conditioned him, the dog or her, the dog, to think that when you hear that bell, you do that. You go and get food. Same principle applies in life, that if you, I suppose in the UK it's more common, you say sorry, then the normal reaction back is, no, I'm sorry. And then you carry on your day.
Yeah.
But the condition to, if someone does something nice for you, then automatically you should trigger and go, well, thank you. And that's by repeated messaging of doing that act or saying those phrases.
It makes you then wonder, how often does that go on within a household? Because if there's a level of expectation, like, I don't know, what can I use as a good example? Like, I don't know, I feel like our parents, like that generation, or probably even our grandparents, like they expect you to say please and thank you and where's your manners and stuff like that. But then also they have a level of expectation from us as the younger generation, and don't necessarily use their P's and Q's when they speak to us. They expect us to give to them.
Yeah.
Because of hierarchy.
Yeah.
But then as we get older, that mindset will shift for us, where we get older and then go, well, we want the younger generation to say respectful things and say thank yous and etc. I think that's a
yeah, but I think there's a difference between modelling it and having it beaten to you.
Yeah. I mean, we're not saying that any of us were beaten by our parents, which is fine. I think it's not like, if I go back to Barbados now and you sit on the veranda or you sit on the porch, and this is why I mean you're a product of your environment. Someone walked past and I wouldn't know them for anybody. Morning, evening, how you doing, whatever, carry on. And that's expected, as in that's the level of expectation that you should have. And I remember one year I was sat on the porch with my mum and someone went past to my evening and I didn't say anything. I learned that I needed to say something.
Did you get a
no, just harsh words. Didn't get slapped at all. But the expectation was you say good evening or good morning or whatever it is, and then that's built into you. So another example is my wife is from Tup North, and we're living down here, but she's like, there's no sense of community. So like neighbours don't go and knock on doors regularly, or they don't go and ask you how you are or anything like that. And I think once again it's a where you are and it's that environment. And I'm so used to not really talking to neighbours.
Yeah.
But as soon as I go to a different place, i.e. Barbados, I talk to my neighbours, I say hello, I say hi, and it could be a random stranger walking the street, evening, morning, whatever.
Would you talk to your neighbours if they spoke to you?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So why don't you be the first to do it?
The thing is, for me, my situation is slightly different. Is my door faces away from any of my neighbours, so I don't have to see anybody, which is a saving grace because you have to do that small talk thing. Oh yeah, how you doing? Oh yeah, did you see the weather? Oh yeah, fine. But then if I see my neighbours as I'm coming out of the house, I go, hi, how you doing? Whatever. It's not a problem. But I think there are some people that just aren't used to doing that. And they're not conditioned to do that. They're more likely, not fear, but I'm in my own little bubble. That I need to go from A to B. My time is precious.
Completely gone.
Sorry, Darren, but then does that mean that that you've lost your common courtesy?
Not necessarily, no. If I see somebody, I'll say something. But I know people that can see me and still not say anything.
Okay. What were you going to say, Darren?
No. I was saying it's just people. That example, Manchester.
Yeah.
My dad coming from Liverpool, being to Liverpool, people far more friendly than London. And I think part and parcel of that is the environment, because there were probably more collective struggles and issues up north than there were down in London. London being the capital and the financing of the country and all the rest of it, you can just see people. There's nothing outside of their peripheral vision. It's just, I need to get A, B, this is it, I'm focused, whatever. Anything else around me, like I drive through Clapham, Wimbledon, probably more prevalent, the more substantially wealthy areas, and people will just step out in the road without looking left and right. That in time, and I'm stood there, I'm just looking, and they look at you going, and I'm just like, you can't see me.
And
that annoys me. Yeah,
that annoys me. The hell. The problem is we've now backed the law up. That now people have even more reason not to even bother, because the highway code now, and okay, it's been enforced. It's always been the case that you're not going to run anybody over unless you're a nutter
or unaware.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But now it's just like priority people, bicycles, mopeds, cars, vans, and it's almost people have taken that protection of the law and the highway code and their sense of self. Okay, so and they just go, well, you're going to have to stop whatever I do. So I'm just going to take a step up, and it is like that.
Yeah.
You go anywhere else, people have got common sense to go, well, I'm not going to step in front of that 2-ton vehicle because I might just be dead.
So that's the thing, right?
Yeah.
So there's the awareness, there's the common courtesy element of it, and then there's the common sense part. The common sense always gets me, because boiling it down, each one of us has a level of self-preservation. And I can't remember the movie I watched, but there's a movie with Jamie Foxx in it. He says that when you fall in love with somebody, your self-preservation changes. You're willing to do something beyond the limits of normal that you would do for that person you love versus what you do for yourself. So he gives the example of biting through the webbing of your hands. So he says, if you had to do that for your other half, and for whatever situation, would you do it? And they test a few people, and they go, I can't do it because of self-preservation. It just goes, don't do that. That's really stupid. Why would you do that? Why would you, if you see a car coming at 30 miles an hour, and granted you may go, well, how fast is 30 miles an hour? I don't know. But if you see a big metal object that probably weighs a ton coming towards you, you go, do you know what? I don't care. I'm going to step out because they have to stop for me. One, that person driving might not be aware. Awareness again. Might not be aware. And
two, the laws of physics.
But then the only way, and I always say this, it's the same for children. The only way you're going to learn is if it happens once, and I'm going to do it again. The unfortunate thing is, if you get hit by a car at 30, you're probably not going to get up again.
Confession, I almost got run over by a car. Oxford Road, down by Oxford Road primary school. Lights were red, went to step out before my mum did. Literally took one step and went back real quick. Red car, went flying past, and it was just like, okay.
Not paying attention.
And that was the last time I would get
But
one
why
over.
do you need something to happen to you before you...
You shouldn't. That's the point. You shouldn't.
Yeah.
Your self-preservation should go...
But also, the common courtesy in me, obviously, again, it would obviously have to depend on circumstances and the situation. And in fact, actually, I'm saying that I probably still... The courtesy in me would stop to let that pedestrian do what they need to do, because I can get somewhere a lot quicker than they can. I'm covered, I'm warm, I'm not and I've been a pedestrian. Sometimes I am. So then I think about it that way. So I then try to prioritise stopping the vehicle. But then obviously pedestrians should not take for granted that everything is going to be our fault as drivers, because also by them stepping out, and then someone like me stopping to let them could also then create something, an accident or something, if the person behind me is not aware, and then the pedestrians don't have to take any responsibility for anything.
It's what was I? It's always in a car as well. It's the bugbear for me is it's driver's entitlement. So I'm driving my car. I go where I want to do and what I want to do. You know, screw everybody else because I'm getting where I need to go. And I was driving down a narrow street the other day with cars parked on either side, and someone pulled up and parked. And this is where the awareness comes in. I was like, it's just parked. It's probably about 100 meters up the road. I'm not gonna put my foot down or anything. I'm just gonna keep it at the same speed, but I'm gonna have my foot hovering over the brake because I have no idea what he's gonna do. And all that happened was the door just swung open, and the person got out, and I did the West Indian thing where I stopped the car and I just stared, as in like,
oh God, I'm not the only one.
Like, what are you doing? Because you haven't. One, have you checked your mirror to see if someone's coming?
The first thing you're taught when you go to drive.
Because if it's a big old lorry, your car door's done, or two, you and your car door are done because you stepped out without looking. But then the look I got back was like, so what? And I was like,
but then if you had licked his car door off,
right, it'd be my fault.
Yeah.
So I'm like, come on, like common sense. Don't just step out into a road blindly, and common courtesy. Just say sorry.
Yeah.
Because one, you stopped my journey. Two, how is it my fault that you flung open your door and stepped out and I could have hit you? How's that my fault? And that did rile me for 5 minutes afterwards, thinking to myself, I should have wind down my window and cussed. But
But then, where does it get you?
So that's interesting because I know before when I said I don't get stopped to the search, I've been stopped twice by the police. I gave the example of when I was with my brother and we got stopped. But there's another time I was just driving along the road and then the blue lights came on behind me, and I was like, okay, what is this? And he got out and he went, do you know how far do you go? And I was like, yes, at 30, and I've got my speed control on it, so I can't go any quicker. And he's like, oh, right, okay. He was like, we just got to be careful around here because there's kids around, blah, blah, blah. And next time if I see anybody that's driving such a powerful car and it's going quicker, blah, 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 then you get a ticket. And I was like, well, okay, fine. But then I started thinking, every time I go past that spot, he stopped me, I think, oh yeah, policeman stopped you. Cool. And if, an example of the guy flinging his door open, if I was then to cuss him hard and say, don't be so stupid, and probably not use that language, but don't be so stupid, do that, then is he likely to, next time he sits in the car and then he stops somewhere and he's going to get out, he goes, oh yeah, that person, is he likely to think that or remember that? Or, I suppose the level of impact though and influence is the fact that it was a police person rather than just a normal person on the street. But is he going to remember someone having an absolute go at him because he flung open his door? I don't know.
Depends how awkward and how painful the experience is, because this is the thing. Pain's the most... It's the best teacher. And that's where...
Unless you're a child and you forget within 5 seconds, but yeah.
So if he's got an emotional memory...
He should remember...
it would be like, all right, And sometimes we have to be people's karma, like... Yeah. But
other people don't see that. They don't see that because it's just like, well, what right do you have? And it's just like, okay, but
it's not about right though, is it? Because he would have been educating him in that moment. Although yes, he would have been angry and using lots of swear words.
I'd be a raised tone. Yeah,
but that's the thing. It's always coming down to what right do you have to tell me I'm a grown adult or whatever, I'm a driver, blah, blah, blah. That's people's backup. They always back that up.
And the answer is the human right from compassion.
Yeah. From your stupidity.
It doesn't always work.
What did you say?
It doesn't always work, the compassion bit. You would think that way, but people don't think that way, which is slightly frustrating.
Well, maybe they will after watching this.
I mean, I'd like to think so, but we'll see. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna count how many times I get angry on the road. There's so many people. Yeah.
Just remember you're hungry.
Yeah, but I mean, regardless, I could have just had a full KFC bucket or something. People are still gonna annoy me on the road.
All right.
At least you have something to throw.
I ain't wasting my chicken.
I'm talking about the bones, man.
But even then. Yeah.
Okay, maybe we should message him, make sure he gets.
Yes, go safe. Oh, you home safe. To go in one piece.
Yeah. Man, me. Yeah.
What's your blood pressure?
I'll be fine.
I'll bring the machine with me next time.
I'll go back to the classic of whenever the missus goes, be careful out there. I'm like, I'm a 6'2" black dude dressed in all black normally, walking around. I think I'll be alright. She's like, no, yeah, but you never know. I'm like,
depends who stops you.
The presence. Yeah, exactly. Famous phrase my mum always used to use. You think you're tough, there's someone always tougher out there.
That's true.
Okay. That's true. Didn't stop her though.
To hear the full radio show, which entails me reflecting on the podcast, sharing the answers to the social media question of the week, and playing music, go to www.myvoiceempower.com and scroll down to the radio section. To listen to the full show live, tune into www.unityliveradio.co.uk every Thursday at 9 p.m. UK time for the My Voice Empower show, where there is also a Your Voice Empower hour for guests who still want to be heard but not shown. They come and engage in conversation about either their business, project, event, or raise awareness about topics that are close to their hearts. Always remember to spread your wings, speak your truth, write it down, and let it go.